And welcome in. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome. It's the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. I am one half of your host and virtual bartender, Mr. Nik-Toberfest. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. Nicole, what are you having this evening?
I am having my usual Tito's, cranberry juice, orange juice. Mr. Nick, what are you drinking and our three things for the show today?
I am having my J. Lore 7 Oaks Cabernet, as usual. Well, we have our WWE Bad Blood predictions. Seth Rollins has returned, and I love you more than anything in the world. It is Friday, October 4th, 2024. This is Nik-Toberfest. Welcome to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. And welcome back in, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. If you're new here, we love having you. Welcome to the virtual bar. If you're a regular, we love having you back. Hit the old like. If you're new, hit the subscribe and come back for more. But today is a very special day. Today, we celebrate on the eve of the actual day. We celebrate the love of my life, the co-host of this show, our subject matter expert, the queen who's not mean. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicole, we celebrate Nik-Toberfest. And only the best.
Oh, God.
You know, only the best.
Oh, God.
For the best. Simply the best.
Oh, God.
Yes, queen.
Simply the best.
Oh, my God. That was
And
so
welcome in.
here.
Yep, that's how we do it.
Oh, God.
But welcome to Nik-Toberfest.
Oh, guys, if you don't know, I've been saying it for like fucking 3 months now. Bad Blood's on my birthday. So it's like it's basically Nik-Toberfest, Fall Mania. Bad Blood is doing big things for my big birthday.
Exactly. Nik-Toberfest is here.
So be prepared. Nick's like, I'm like crying already. He's done so much. I have not seen any of the things that he's played, and I'm sure there's more to come. So I'm strapping kids because you know he's
There may or may not be. I don't know. Honestly, do not know.
Oh, God. Thank you, babe. I love you.
Yes.
Thank you for always making things too big for my birthday.
Well, I love you, and I know others do. Lisa's chiming in. Hi, did you miss me? We missed you, Lisa.
Of course, lady.
Ladies' night. Tazzy's in. The party, baby.
Hey, Tazzy.
So we are having a blast tonight. So we figured we'd kick it off in a different fashion
Oh, Lord.
for Nik-Toberfest. A little quiz of sorts. So, for Nikki, the questions are, and these are questions that we all ask ourselves and each other along the way. How did you get into wrestling?
Well, give me your comments down below. Answer them too. I've said it before, like my dad was a huge wrestling fan, my brother was a wrestling fan. Like, the reason why I love him, Macho Man, my dad loved Macho Man. He would talk, I'm terrible at accents for me to do it, but he would talk like this and do the thing and cream rises to the top. I'm terrible at that. And then like my brother was like, and that was the thing, like my dad very much loved like rooting against her people. Like my brother was a Hogan fan, so like my dad was a Macho fan. And I remember like anybody that my people were like, any like especially like DX stuff, like matches we're gonna talk about later, like I love Shawn Michaels. My dad was like, well, Taker's gonna win. And it's just like he was just like the catalyst of so much of me loving wrestling. And then I kind of took it farther than the both of them. And I brought up the Bam Bam Bigelow match. Like that's an early memory of watching that with him, the LT Mania match. Undertaker coming out in WrestleMania 9 with a vulture. Like those are like very vivid memories of sticking out. Of, it's just something that was on in the house.
Yeah.
And I just kind of got sucked in.
You grew up with it
Yeah.
You grew up around it, like
And
most of us as a child. You got into it, and you just got hooked with it. So
yeah,
you know,
it's just like these big, and there's just like this so cliche thing. It's just like these bigger than life characters doing these bigger than life things of like throwing each other around. Again, like being so little, and you think it's
so
quote
little.
unquote little. You think it's quote unquote real. Like, oh my god, this guy's gonna kill each other. They're doing this, and like, oh my god, I remember it's WrestleMania 10, 11. Roddy Piper Goldust, the backlot brawl.
Yeah, I think it's 11.
I also remember watching with my dad, and it's like, well, Roddy Piper actually did break his hand, but like the brutality of, I remember watching that, I was like, they're gonna kill each other. And it's just like, you get caught up in like the moment and the spectacle of the story, the Shakespeare of it, that it's just like, it's so proper with punching each other. Like, sign me up.
Sure. So you grew up loving Macho Man. Because you didn't.
I'm actually
you
wearing
were
my Macho.
anti.
I don't know if you can't see my Macho Man shirt. No, didn't like Hulk Hogan. Never will like Hulk Hogan. Get out of here.
And that's how Nikki got to where she is. How did you all get into wrestling? Put it in the comments. Let us know. Kind of a fun topic.
Like a match, a pay-per-view, a person.
We all got here one way or the other.
Right, because I think I said all three. It was of a person, a match, and a pay-per-view.
So you kind of touched on some of your favorite wrestlers, with Macho Man.
Yeah.
Who? Any others along the way?
I try to do like in like era for you, because like I remember like I get Macho Man with my dad, and even like going back and rewatching the stuff and like appreciating it more. Like again, that match, him and Steamboat WrestleMania, like even though he mapped it out like line by line by line by move, but it was just back then it was just like incredible to watch. I still love watching that match, and I watch it every time we go into Mania season. But Attitude Era, like my prime watching was Triple H. It was DX. It was his DX. Obviously him and Shawn, but I think him and his DX.
Yeah. The Outlaws.
The Outlaws, X-Pac, China. And then I think this is when we go off the rails, but also when I got real into it is with him and Stephanie, the McMahon-Helmsley era, when they were out sitting on the leather couches eating crudité. I think that's also my obsession with wrestling couples, because I was so in love with Triple H and Stephanie, and then finding out that they're actually a real couple even makes my heart so happy, and why I'm so obsessed with wrestling couples. Couldn't tell you a celebrity if I fell over them, but wrestling couples, I got you. But anything Triple H, he was my guy. Oh, him and early, him and Cactus Jack, Mankind stuff, the steel cage match, the Royal Rumble? What wasn't the steel cage or the?
See, for him, it was the SummerSlam ladder match with The Rock.
That was a crazy one. Because that's also at Madison Square Garden, because the ramp is weird. But anything Triple H is my guy, and then I dipped off for a while, and then getting me back into it was honestly CM Punk, which I feel like I still have a very much love-hate relationship with him. But then kind of getting back into it and sticking with it, then the Shield became my people, and Seth Rollins. This kind of brings the blonde hair back, but in the Shield, Seth was my dude. And then I got really upset, at first when he turned and he hit and Dean's face. You're just oh, I was upset. But then seeing him turn into the schmarmy shit heel and winning the briefcase and how he was with the briefcase, chef's kiss. And then obviously to me, best cash in of flipping all time. So I think it's that's kind of the ones that I'm I grab. It was Macho, Triple H, I don't know if it's around my personal people that I get excited to see, and we'll get to that later of him. My baby's back. Those are my three dudes.
That's fair.
Also to because every time you ask me these questions, what's at the top of my head? It was Macho, Triple H, Rollins.
Well, we are going to get into Seth Rollins.
Oh, we'll get
very deep into Seth Rollins as we move along. So. We've gotten to know Nikki a little bit further. Any other maybe facts that maybe anyone knows about your affinity for wrestling?
I told you this, and it's just the era, the way I grew up and things. So my 11th birthday, was obviously October 5th.
What's up, Javier?
Hey.
Welcome to the party. Welcome to Nik-Toberfest.
Oh, we're talking all things me, and I apologize up front. My birthday's tomorrow. We're celebrating. But for my 11th birthday, WWE was actually in New Jersey. And this morning I said the Intercontinental Airlines Arena. But Nick's like,
Yes.
No.
It's a title. They're actually going to defend it later. And AEW is going to actually have the Intercontinental Airlines.
Thank you, Javier. And the Continental Airlines Arena. So my birthday, besides getting the tickets to go see Raw, my birthday gift, I got to pick what t-shirt I wanted. Well, 11-year-old me, who was obsessed with DX, obsessed with Triple H, obsessed with the New Age Outlaws, my sign, because I brought a sign, because that's what you did in 99, I cut out, because of course I subscribed to the WWE magazine, and I cut out every single DX outlaw. Shit, I punch everything. Outlaw. Everything I had glued onto this poster board. So the shirt that I picked out was Road Dogs doing it in the doghouse, doggy style. As an 11-year-old, I wore that shirt to school. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
I got a detention or whatever it was, like a demerit for wearing the Stone Cold. Like, you want to raise some hell, and saying hell was bad too. Javier's drink it. Have a drink. Cheers.
Pour it up. Like,
Javier, feel free to call in later for the call-in portion. But yeah,
I didn't get in trouble in school, but I'm like, shouldn't I have? Like, this is not something an 11-year-old girl should be wearing in 5th grade, but I did. Well, but it was 99. I was in 5th grade. It was my 11th birthday. We went to Raw, because I rewatched that Raw since, because it on the network and Peacock, and the New Age Outlaws opened, and I remember like holding my sign and be like, yes, and then like rewatching stuff, and I was like, oh no.
Is that the one they lost to Kane and?
Yes,
I was there.
Were you, what?
Yeah,
we were both.
They lost
the Raw.
Yeah. Just like we were at the
Why
same.
Why are you just telling me this now on this podcast?
I don't know. I didn't.
It
just struck them just now. But yeah,
I did the same.
I'm pretty sure I probably told you this before, actually.
I think you're lying.
No, because I was there because we left because it's Raw starts at 9 and we have school the next day, so we had to leave at like 10 because they won in the beginning of the match, right? And again they came back and and we didn't get home
the whole time, and I had to promise that I would get up the next morning. And I crawled like I was hungover to that school bus. That was the thing. It was always because like Raw was always late, and my dad was like, "You gotta go to bed." And I was like, "But Triple H is coming on. He's the main event. I have to stay up." And he's like, "You give me crap trying to wake you up in the morning. You're not watching it next week." And I was like, "I promise I'll get up." And I was just like,
just to see Triple H, all to see this man.
Oh, love my life. Besides, yeah,
who closes up
and Jackson. But I remember just like maybe that's why I'm good at hangovers. I just remember like willing myself. I was like, you have to watch wrestling the next week. You get up and go downstairs. You're really like, I'm dying. But I don't know. This is my origin story, I guess.
So now you know. If you don't know, now you know.
Lord.
So, from Nikki's personal backstory, her origin story.
So weird. Sorry, guys.
To Nikki's news.
Oh, my news. This is the new news segment.
Ready. Nikki, take us through Nikki's non-kayfabe wrestling news of the week.
This was really sad pants. They said this on Raw that our dear Ilya Dragunov got injured at a house show fighting Gunther for the belt. And more reasons to do less house shows because all my people seem to get injured at house shows. But he tears his ACL and he's going to be out projected 6 to 9 months. And I was just like, I was waiting for him to do like him again, like not a fan of. I don't know how I feel about Jay having the IC belt, even though the new belt looks great. I wanted like Ilya and Braun to go at it. I wanted Ilya to go after Gunther. I feel like in my brain I had all these plans for Ilya to be doing, and now he's gone for 9 months. So when he comes back, and he did come back as a killer, but I think he's going to be missed not being on TV 6 to 9 months.
I know I've talked about this before. You know what I'd love to see is him coming back as a heel and joining up with Imperium. Like I could totally see it. And then eventually, depending where you're at, like a year down the road with Gunther, if he's still the champ, if not recently, like, that could be a main event feud on the main roster. You build him up within the group.
They said
because Vinci looks like I mean, either they're not doing anything with him or he's just terrible.
I alluded to that last week when he didn't get to talk about it, but apparently he's been getting eating plates of shit and learning how to like the taste of it is because apparently he was making moves on Tiffy. And Tiffy is with Kaiser. And like, but like I feel like that's a planted story that's gonna, think so?
That's gonna show up.
Then Kaiser like tore into him when they broke up or kicked him out of the group, whatever you call it. He was holding us all back and like kind of like shit Mysterio a little bit. I don't know. Again, dirt sheets, tea sheets, whatever you want. But they both said Ilya and Gunther said that they wouldn't want him in Imperium.
Javier agrees. It sounds about right that he was hitting on the girl.
I mean, she's beautiful, so like I get it. But I'm like, bro code. I don't know, you guys.
So I mean, with Dragon, I would love to see him come back as a heel. He was working his way into the mid card, into the IC title picture, like you mentioned. I don't know where, when he comes back, what the landscape will look like.
Yeah, it's going to be so crazy. What's 6 to 9 months from now?
Excuse me. Ugh. But, yeah. But, honestly, I mean, again, to me, I'm not his biggest fan, but I could see him in the right scenarios growing and getting better and becoming, star on the roster. So, again, we hope a speedy recovery for him because he's great in the ring. And
if you haven't done it, go watch him and Gunther in NXT UK. It was a pandemic match, and you just heard every flip and smack. It was beautiful.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you all think? Where will the landscape be when Ilya comes back? Will he come back in 6 months? Do you see him in a year from now?
I would like to, again, quickly, like I would like to see him a world title because it's
Steve with the Jet hate. He couldn't have torn his ACL. He's not the QB for the Jets.
Steven! Sarah and Early, I love it. Love you to pieces.
Unbelievable.
But I think it's going to be that picture because I think it's going to be, I hope it's either Braun or Gunther still, or like just you can plug and play him in that.
Yeah, in that. That's fair. Can we get a Miz push now?
Like I don't know. He turned heel. He turned on Truth.
Yeah, we could talk. Javier, if you want to chime in on that is something we could talk about maybe in the Raw segment. We didn't really touch on it that much with his heel turn, but we can open up the phone lines. We're going to open up the phone lines probably around the 7:00 hour. So you can chime in. We can talk about that as well as the PLE. But in the meantime, definitely throw everything in the comments here, and we'll
Our
read them
format's
off.
a little different between Nick wanting to celebrate Nik-Toberfest and then doing predictions for Bad Blood. We're a little all over the place with our normal format, but hang out, stay in, chime in.
So what else you got, Nikki, in the news department?
One more like crossing the line. AEW finally secured another TV deal. They signed another multi-year deal with WBD, the Warner Brothers Discovery people. Dynamite is going to stay on Wednesdays on TBS. Collision will stay on TNT on Saturdays. It seems like they're very quietly getting away from Rampage, which I don't think anyone's going to be upset about.
Yeah, no one cares.
Starting in January, Max... people in the U.S. that have the Max subscription will be able to stream the shows Dynamite and Collision on Max. And then hopefully they're saying later 2025 they'll be a discounted, they'll have the pay-per-views on there, but there'll be a discounted rate. So which makes me a little nervous. But again, I've been clamoring for this. Like again, like I'm glad we started getting the pay-per-views on Triller, whatever the fuck it's called. That like when I fall asleep because it's a 12-hour show, I can go back and rewatch.
Yeah, obviously, I'll miss the internet show.
Oh, apparently that's also the other thing when they think that that Dark is coming back because whatever the deal was that they got the rights to Dark back because when they signed with whatever it was that they couldn't do Dark on YouTube anymore. But apparently they got those rights back. So they might be getting rid of Rampage, but Dark should be back on YouTube. And I also was like early days and like pandemic days of them doing just like crazy, just like the low card or the lower mid card, just doing crazy matches. Like there's no one in this arena and you're doing a crazy flippy do off the top rope. But like I agree with you. Like Dark and to a lesser extent, Dark Elevation. But yeah, having their YouTube show would be definitely interesting.
Yeah, I'd like. I do like the idea of like, again, Rampage. No one's watching, like reducing it, because again, I think I told you the other night. Like, imagine if they had just Dynamite versus Dynamite and Rampage and Collision and all those like shows to fill. Like, you don't have to have Chris Jericho filling 30 minutes of Dynamite. You could do a lot of different things and have a lot of different stars in there. So, which we'll talk about some of the returning and debuting stars on Dynamite shortly. So, Nikki, again, as we any final thoughts on this?
They're making a crazy amount of money. They're saying should be at 150 mil, but probably close to 185 million in this deal.
Yeah, Javier says if Rampage was in RHTV, make it 1 hour, it would have worked. Yeah, I mean a lot of 1 hour wrestling, but then there's stuff like, what was that, Wrestling Society X, that was kind of like that, and it didn't really. It's tough to get a lot, cross and build up stars with 1 hour.
I think when Dark, not to cut you off too hard, but like when Dark came out, like I feel like everyone watched it. That was a huge thing on Dark, and then it became Dark Elevation, and then it was Rampage, and then there was like all this extra shit. And I was like, I don't have time to watch all your little shows.
Yeah.
But if it was just Dynamite, and then you had this one little hour offshoot on YouTube, that was good. Like, what, 2019, 2020, when we're all in the shit?
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's too much again. We were trying to dilute, 7+ hours of wrestling down into, like...
Yeah.
I can't watch it. I want to watch everything. There's so many things I want to watch, but I don't.
And that's what we are trying to do this week, every week, is dilute down 7+ hours of wrestling into 1 to 2 hour happy hour here. And we appreciate you joining us as we try and get through as much as possible. So this was Nikki's news.
Music made me so happy.
You love that.
I love that music so much. Sorry, I digress. Go on. Quick.
So we move along to Monday Night Raw, where, Nikki, you kind of touched upon it.
Do you mean Monday Night Rollins?
Seth Rollins returns on Monday Night Raw. It's like you booked this whole week for your birthday, just to overbook the absolute shit out of your whole birthday week. Between that, AEW trying to run back, which we'll get to maybe shortly, the Ricochet, Osprey stuff. It's just, you just got your birthday wishes. Like, I had SummerSlam around my birthday, I think, but like, man, you really got.
I know, they're recognizing Nik-Toberfest. It's an official holiday.
They knew it.
But
there's no bad blood there.
But my man's back. Curb stomped Reed on the steel steps, so he couldn't get up to reach the count. My microphone's weird, but we'll leave it. And Braun Strowman stood up and won the last monster standing match. But also, he got injured in this match. Apparently, he has a torn groin. Try to say that 10 times fast. You're thinking it can be anywhere from a couple weeks to a month. I don't know.
Fine with it.
He can be off TV for a little bit.
Well, because I think I told you, I think he was coming out of this. I thought he was losing, but coming out of this and then eventually joining up with the Wyatts.
Right. And there was also apparently a rumor or going around the sheets that AEW didn't love the ring explosion. And I don't know if you watched the referee, because I think the first time I did it, and I believe it was Kyoto, that just was like, whoa, and just like legit, like kind of just fell out the ring. You saw the referee, like, it dropped, and he was like, oh, I'm supposed to tumble out, and then like rolled out the ring. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was this match was pure destruction.
But
I mean,
again,
there was tables, there was Bronson Reed put Strowman through, like, with a Death Valley driver through 2 tables. Strowman put him through a table. Strowman actually jumped off the top rope, which was pretty neat to see a guy that size doing it. So it was just kind of a crazy match, which ultimately ends up because Bronson Reed had the opportunity to win the match. He basically had the match won because of the, I think, Strowman jump, right? So he looks strong relatively. Ultimately, he's about to come back, and he's hit with a curb stomp. As Rollins, you could see him.
You saw him running, and Joe Tessitore, he's growing on me week by week. He just was like losing his bananas.
Yeah, he's again, he's doing a great job, and moving everything along. So ultimately, I guess my question here is like, I think this was a lot quicker than anyone imagined. So, like, when should, because I wasn't all sold in, when should Seth Rollins return? Because this seems so, like, not forced at all, but it seems a little different. Javier said they should have went through the mat or the floor. Or to the floor.
I said this last week, this spot is kind of overdone at this point. And then I heard because whatever SummerSlam, when Brock came out with the lift and like lift or the tractor, whatever you want to call it, lift.
Yes, and
the ring, like it needed to be something different. Like we've seen the rope spot.
But with those two, I'm not expecting. You know what I mean? It's not like you're not going to get the best bookers. You're not going to get the best agents or whatever it is on it. But I guess when, because I just think this could have been reserved for after a PLA or, to build. I'm sure he's going to end up doing some sort of match with Bronson. And it felt like we didn't. I know you love and blasphemy, but like she loves Seth Rollins, but like I don't know that we needed him right now. And I think if the timing was right,
he's your break in the case of emergency thing, and I think they maybe book themselves into a corner. Like you don't want Reed to lose, and you don't want Strowman to lose. So what do we do? So then, like Seth can come in and hit a curb stomp on the steps after he just went through the ring.
But Strowman could lose. Like that's the thing. You didn't need to, and putting him out of action would have been better.
But he just came back from action though, or just came back from being out.
So I guess now he's put down, right? So Braun won the match and is going to be out because of a real life injury. But where, after all this buildup, where does Bronson Reed go from?
We're just going in a few with Seth.
Yeah, no, but it's just, I guess, like, I'm hoping that, like, do you want to see? I mean, I know Seth's great, but like,
well, I think we have to see what kind of Seth we're getting after him coming off of the crazy year that he has had, being champion, being injured, MVP of WrestleMania 40. I'll fight you in a parking lot. I'll tsunami you on a car. MVP of WrestleMania. And I think is it at this point that he is having these injuries or coming back from injuries? Is he that person that can put over the younger talent?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
He can lose to Reed. I'm assuming would it be a Raw main event? Would it be Survivor Series? But he can put over Reed and have Reed go off and go to that IC realm or maybe above that world heavyweight. But I think at this point, I'm hoping, and I don't want to see Seth lose. I want to see him win all day. But I think at this point, Seth can take a loss. Reed can really benefit from the win.
Oh, for sure. So the final question in this storyline or this topic for Raw, for our main takeaway from Raw, is, I guess, when should Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed face off? You have Crown Jewel coming up. You have Survivor Series after that. I don't. What's December?
I don't think
there is not. Yeah, so I guess it's like then. So
there has to, because then it gets weird because Royal Rumble's in February, which I absolutely freaking hate. And then they just announced, maybe that should have been in our news segment, that Elimination Chamber is going to be in the UK in March. And that's the last pay-per-view before Mania.
So
maybe,
okay, so
unless they do their like day one thing again, I don't know.
Probably.
Or they have Saturday night's main event.
Well,
maybe that's the thing in between.
So where would you like to see it? I guess I'm going to push back on you. It's your birthday bash, but I'm not going to.
I think it's a Raw main event, to be honest with you.
I kind of get that
or
feeling.
If it, I'm sorry, maybe didn't mean to cut you off again. I've had some cocktails before happy hour started. I just don't. If it is on an actual PLE, then it's going to be in the mid. It's not going to open. It's not going to close. You're going to be mid. So I think it'd be more beneficial for them to be an event, a Raw, than be on a PLE.
I guess that's fair. Let's see what Javier says. They need to build it up more. Maybe have Bronson beat more in the main event. Be more in the main event on Raw. Yeah, I mean, you would hope so. He just needs. I guess maybe his next match is against Priest or something along those lines, which could or some. I mean, it's got to be against a main event babyface.
Yeah, but we'll get into it. But I don't think Priest can take a loss right now.
Well, we're going to get into it because we're getting up to that area. So, again, that was our main Raw takeaways for this week.
We just wanted to talk about Seth for my birthday.
Yeah, we wanted to get in a little Seth Rollins spot because those are the only things that wasn't going to probably carry through. Well, it probably will somehow to the PLE tomorrow. So as we move along, we move into our AEW Dynamite takeaways. Nikki, we saw 2 returns.
We did. What I was very excited about.
Britt Baker and Jay White.
Britt Baker is my girl. I love Britt Baker. I don't know how I feel about her run coming back. Again, we haven't seen her since Wembley. You know I can't say that word. But I'm like, we haven't seen her since, so that's September. So I guess a month, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Is she just on this card because she's from Pittsburgh and they're in Pittsburgh? If they weren't in Pittsburgh, would she be on this card? Could anybody and their mom beat Serena Deeb? Sorry, I'm not a Serena Deeb fan.
Yeah. I also wonder, like, this tinfoil hat theory. Like, Serena Deeb is one of the. Isn't she one of the coaches, right? As well in the backstage, like she's one of the veterans that's relied on.
She's definitely a veteran. I don't know if she's like coaching.
It is interesting, like with all the rumors that like she's Britt's disliked backstage or whatever. That now Serena, who's like the steady hand, comes in this match and face her. Yeah, I don't know where they're going, with Britt into another title. It seems like they're going to probably put her with maybe like Mariah as like another main event talent.
The indication of Mariah, maybe, but like again, the only person that could take the belt off Mariah is Tony. So, are you going to have Britt Baker, who's technically better, lose to Mariah, or is that the match that Tony comes back on?
Yeah, that would be an interesting kind of dynamic. Javier says he wants more Okada middle finger. He says that's the most over thing right now.
Seriously. Whoever thought he would...
And him saying bitch. He says bitch.
Him having this comedic timing, like him being this badass AF, MF.
He is, yeah.
In New Japan, and then coming over and being this weird comic character is very interesting to me.
Yeah, we'll see. But again, moving along, also, we did see my boy Switchblade Jay White return to back up his boys, the Bang Bang Gang.
Guns up, everybody! I really like the match between Paige and Juice. I think I haven't really been keeping up on Collision as much as I should be, but apparently there was a thing there that led to the thing here, and then Jay coming back and saving Juice from Paige, and them being this, like, I know Jay White was like the Bullet Club leader, but they feel like the IC belt people of the Bullet Club. So I'm very much loving. I think they're gonna have a fun match, and I think it's interesting because you would think it'd be the other way around, that Jay would be the heel, Hangman would be the face. So I'm really interested to see this the other way around. Yeah,
I'm excited. I like Jay White. I just don't know. Yeah, I think he's better as a heel. How it will all work out for him. But again, I think he's been misused. I'm sure, sorely regrets not signing with WWE. He probably could be a real he could be
Ooh.
used really well in NXT or anything in WWE right now, even on the main roster. So I think he would have been a much bigger deal had he decided to make that jump.
I don't know. I would see him more if he would be IC US.
Which to me is better than what he's doing in AEW. Even mid card in WWE in that role, he would have been a hell of a lot better position. Here he, we got the trios belt. Great.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a
I
belt.
honestly, like, I feel like I didn't really but like wasn't in love with Jay White until like you were excited about Jay White. And then also finding that guy in MSG didn't help.
Yeah, it's tough too. Like, I think with him, it's just like sometimes his promos aren't great, and it's like I'm starting to see some of it. Like, he's way other level better, but like with Ospreay, where he's like, all right, like the MJF thing, where he was like, all right, you're going on. Like sometimes you need to cut it a little shorter. And it's like less is more with these guys.
Agreed, and I think he's one of the people that could probably benefit in being in like a promo class. Because I think he has the charisma, but sometimes like necessarily the cadence or something. Because like a lot of things that he does before he got injured, like he just mimics or mocks the face or whoever is talking to at the side with their own catchphrase, and that doesn't necessarily hit. So I feel like if he had like a proper, again, I don't know what AEW structure is, or Mox and Kingston should be cutting promo classes, but I feel like just a little fine tuning, I think he'd be top notch. Like I would see him with the
Javier says that Jay White's a waste of money and talent, which I agree. For AEW at least.
I can, because I felt like that for a while, but then I'm like, your love for him made me love him. And then I do like,
I know, and now I'm starting to fizzle because of the way they're using him and just ruining it.
But I do, and that's the problem. Like, you have this good faction. Like I like Juice Robinson. I think I almost said Young Bucks. The Gun Club. I think they have more charisma than Billy does. Like, I think if you just give someone a chip and a chair and let their personality show and give them some time, I think this could be good. But I feel like Tony Khan plays with you for 2 shows and then you're off for 6 months and you come back and then like your rhythm's off. You don't have that when you're in front of a crowd every night doing it.
Well, you get the syndrome of the shiny new object and the shiny new toy, which brings us to our next topic.
True.
Shelton Benjamin has made his AEW debut as the complaint consultant. What's he calling himself? The
complaint department.
Yeah, complaint department.
I think it's department.
For MVP, which this whole segment was really kind of neat because, like, obviously MVP interrupted Vince Nana last week, and Nana comes up like basically like, "I'm going to lace up my boots and kick your ass," which was great. And again, I like this build, and he's like, and he was about to make the announcement, so he interrupts his announcement, and he's like, "Well, if you have complaints, you can go to the complaint department." Lo and behold, Shelton Benjamin makes his debut to a pretty big pop, which I don't know if that's just fabricated or whatnot. But my question is, we highly speculated the Hurt Syndicate debuting and being formed in AEW. But with Shelton Benjamin, again, veteran of the business, was great in the ring, still probably is solid in the ring. My question is, did you want to see him in AEW? Like, you have a lot of, like, you can reform a group. In my opinion, they're going to reform this group, right?
No, confirmed.
And like, did you need Shelton Benjamin in this group, or could someone else have benefited from it? I know he was part of the original group, but like, I don't think if you're going to bring in Lashley and MVP, I think that's enough of the group.
No, I think you need the trio. I think they could and should have been bigger than they should have in WWE. Like, I feel like the stop, start, push, and then de-push of them is crazy pants. Even they didn't make it work with the Hurt Profits.
Javier agrees with you. He says you need Shelton to make it work.
I think, because, again, I wasn't necessarily watching the period. I went back and rewatched so many things. Like, I think sort of underrated, sort of underutilized. I think he went on that crazy IC run. Like, I think he should have been more than he was. And I think this group should have been more. And I think if
they got over really well.
Yeah,
I mean, was Lashley the world champion? Sorry to cut you up, but was he the world champion when they were in the group? I can't remember.
I believe so. I think it's something that went too hot, too quick, and then like fizzled out.
Right.
It should have been bigger, and it had the potential to be bigger, and then it went nowhere. So again, is Tony Khan going to give them 2 weeks to look phenomenal and then forget about them 2 weeks later? I don't know. Probably, but I'm intrigued, I guess.
Well, he doesn't have patience, that's for sure.
Again, it's like the moments of brilliance that he has. Again, like Hangman, maybe it's just Hangman. Hangman Swerve has been beautiful. The Hangman Omega between like them being the tag champions and then him taking the belt off, like that was beautiful. And just like sometimes when he gets it, it's so good, and then sometimes he gets it so flippin' wrong.
Yeah.
That like I hope it should be bigger, and like I'm here for it.
Why should you treat them any different? Yeah, he's like,
no.
Well, no, don't say that.
No, it's again, you're hot for 2 minutes and then you're not, and like I don't.
Yeah, I know Tony has ADD in a lot of ways with his booking, and I guess the other question is like, just does Shelton Benjamin like move the needle for AEW? Because I don't see him as like a main eventer, but maybe that's not. I guess all right. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe that's not the point.
I mean, this is great because it's not Shelton Benjamin. It's going to be the trio. It's going to be this. What's trio? It's not a set. It could be a set.
Yeah, him. Yeah.
You're gonna have them all together, and eventually, probably, maybe you're gonna feud or take him with Swerve. I don't think it's just you're not hiring Shelton Benjamin because you think he's going to boost your ratings. It's going to be the collective set doing collective things because Tony is a WCW guy. You like your fucking facts.
The Nightmare Collective.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm going to cut your hair off.
I can see. Sorry to cut you. Javier, you can see Bobby beating Bryan in his first match.
Oh no, I'd be very upset about that.
I think the internet would probably blow up on that.
No, Bryan's losing it to Mox next weekend.
Steve, Tony reminds the kids who demanded a nice new toy for the birthdays and just ended up playing with the box. Yep. Well, on birthdays.
I mean, like,
who doesn't love a good box?
I hoard so many boxes. I'm about to.
Oh yeah, don't.
About.
That's why our fire pits are glorious. It's like cathartic for me.
But again, it's not about what Shelton's going to do for AEW. It's the collective and what the collective should do together.
The non-Nightmare Collective.
The non-Nightmare Collective. They're all bald.
The Bald Collective. That's what we're calling them. But
oh god.
So Nikki, it was an interesting. Again, there was a lot going on at Dynamite. We kind of glossed over a bunch. If you want to talk more about Dynamite, we can. We'll open up the phones in a little bit. But
we got a pay-per-view to present.
Premise, yes, the premise for this show.
I love you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can cut me off. It's your birthday. You can cry if you want to.
No, I'm just gonna cut you off. I want to get to the thing. And I gotta go. Okay.
So let's get to it. We are here to cover and predict, aside from Nikki's birthday, WWE Bad Blood. So let's get it started. Let's preview some of the matches. There's only one way to do it. It's with Taylor Swift. Trusted, did you have to ruin We got Bad Blood. Let's get it started. WWE Bad Blood predictions. Are you ready?
Yes.
I said.
Are you ready?
Steven's calling it Slayer Swift.
I love that, Steven.
That's a good one. That's a good one. So, we open, and we know this is not opening, but we're doing it the way that we would have booked it this time.
Well, had Nik.
We're opening with the Bloodline. Because God forbid the Bloodline doesn't close.
Well.
So we start. Nikki, your thoughts on the match before we get to your...
I told you, like, I can literally book this either way. I don't... We're gonna it's so again, my Macho Man, and it's like the mega powers can like coexist. Like, is Cody and Roman gonna be able to do a thing together?
Yeah, that's my... I feel like I see a lot of not hot tags, what are they called? Hard tags?
Yeah, when it's like...
Yeah, like slapping him on the chest. On his big man boob. Bam!
No, it's not on purpose.
Very improper. Not really. But, yeah, like, a lot of hostility, and is like, I guess the question is that could that lead to a downfall between them? Is that the story that we're trying to tell in this match? Is that they've hated each other for 2 years plus now, and they just can't get along regardless of their common enemies?
Right, well, that's the thing is, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, like, we gotta be tight to take out this garbage that we both hate.
Mm.
And it's just like, I can, like...
Javier thinks this is a predictable match. It's really boring to me. Call it the match to skip.
I'm just like, then if this is supposed to lead you to War Games, then I would think Cody and Roman have to win, so then the Bloodline can be like, oh, well, something happened or whatever, that like we need to be in a cage, War Games, to do a thing.
Yeah, because the War Games thing, it's like, then who goes over on War Games, right? Like could this be? There's so many elements to this match, I think, because Pat McAfee came out. He had I think Roman on the show, or Cody.
It's Cody.
And he said, I heard the big guy's coming back. So the question now,
Ryback.
Yeah, Ryback's coming back. Does The Rock return if this match is closing? We know it's closing, but does The Rock return if this match is closing? That would be a big surprise. Is Pat McAfee trying to tip off the WWE Universe like he does periodically? Well, so Javier, he says if he leads The Rock turning heel, okay. I think he's already a heel.
Turned, babe. Like, that's already happened.
Yeah, that's well, that was like a WrestleMania rewind. WrestleMania rewind. But do you see The Rock returning?
But so the rumor, I did not watch the Cody Pat McAfee interview, but what I've gathered from the sheets is that Cody said there's a video or a vignette that's supposed to play that will lead him into Crown Jewel. So it doesn't set up Survivor Series. It sets up his championship thing for Saudi. Mm. So does this, whatever happens tomorrow, take him out of the two bloodlines feuding, and then he does a thing with Rock? Are they getting enough money to do Rock Cody at Saudi?
Oof.
That'd be crazy because we're not going to be in the country.
That would be nuts. If that's... But
then, like, is this something that, like, Rock comes in and he's been, like, the puppet master all along,
right? And
it's Cody Jacob.
Like, like as like the interim in between as he's leading up to the final boss.
The final boss, yeah.
It would be interesting. Javier goes, can we call someone a heel if we enjoy it?
Yes.
Yes, you can. We love MJF.
We fight over heel and face terms all the time. But like MJF, huge heel. I love him to pieces.
The other thing here too is, as we talk about, maybe does The Rock return, but never not necessarily. What?
No, I'm sorry. Like, he beat up Cody and sang to his mom. Like, I'm sorry, you don't get really much healy than that.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Yeah, no, Rock's definitely left the heel, stay the heel. The other question about this is the derivative of it. Like, you could talk to the final boss, and you can go up the ladder, or we could go down the food chain, so to speak. And do we see a Hikuleo debut? You know, or Talatonga, as he's calling himself.
I think if anything,
or supposedly.
I mean, if anything, I would think Jimmy would come back. Would Jimmy come back and save Roman? Because again, their promo package, 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, that he's
lost.
They took Jimmy, they took my wise man, they took my Ulafala. So he's, I think, more upset. Again, nothing about Jay, but I think if anything, to save Roman, Jimmy would come back. Unless you listen to Rikishi's tweet saying you have to pray for him, I don't know. But if anyone to come back, I think it'd be Jimmy would come and save Roman.
Yeah.
Or are you saying Hikuleo would come save Solo?
Yeah. Like, I think Hikuleo, because tonight on SmackDown we have the tag title match. So I mean, I don't know where the God, the Tongans are going to be after the match, like health wise, right? Kayfabe health wise, but it would be interesting. The only thing that I can't wrap my head around is like Hikuleo's 7 foot tall, so he's viewed as like an enforcer, and you already have Jacob as the enforcer. So like that's what that's the only reason I'm not sure if Hikuleo debuts, because like at least in this iteration of it, like Jacob, the way they built him up is a monster. There's no need to have another enforcer unless you're making this like some crazy, which again, the way that Heyman positioned it is like a savage group. Maybe that's the case, but which would be awesome. But I don't know.
Do you save Hikuleo for War Games and have a Kane moment of him coming to the cage, ripping off the door, and saving the 2.0 bloodline?
That would be
nice. He's this big, again, he's, and you can't teach that, but he's this big guy that they're, maybe potentially saving for. Like, that's what you save him for, him to save them when they need him the most.
Yeah, that would be pretty neat.
Because I think, that would be the thing to turn the tide. I think that would be a bigger impact than Hikuleo showing up tomorrow.
That's fair. That would be 100% like the Kane thing. So
the Kane treatment.
Javier's got a couple thoughts. He said Jimmy and Jay showing up at the end of the match would be a good feeling, but I think Jimmy's doing his own thing. Which, by the way, I love the new IC belt with the blue. Jay. Yes,
Jay.
Jimmy comes out.
Jay has a beautiful IC belt, and again, like with Roman saying they took Jimmy, they took my wise man, they took my Ulafala. Is Jay like not even in this?
Yeah, I think he's out of it for now. Like, I think that's the thing. He'd much rather have Zilla show up. Yeah, I heard that too, and being around him at Wrestle Show in New Jersey, he was really cool and nice to be around. But I've heard a lot of things about him being super green, so I don't know if he's going to be
green.
Ready.
And apparently, the dispute between Brett Lauderdale and him for GCW, that he's maybe not the most professional. And green. Unprofessional and green. I don't know if Triple H wants to take that on right now.
The final question I have about this match is: do we see Kevin Owens turn on Cody Rhodes in this match?
No, I think it's going to be Randy. If anyone's going to come and interfere in between KO and Randy to mess up Cody, I think it'd be KO is the better story. They have the history. They have the Again, watch that interview between Cody and Randy. I don't want KO to be like this big show sort of thing that he turns so much, and people are kind of like, that'd be like the obvious thing to do. So maybe turn Randy.
It would make his character a little bit more dynamic. But ultimately, so Nikki, we get down to it. Predictions.
Oh, I know what I said. I flip-flopped. I think I told you Bloodline, but I think I convinced myself. I'm sorry, what?
Steven wants to pair Zilla up with God and call him Godzilla. Where's Lisa?
Steven!
Where's Lisa? She was here earlier. Lisa would have loved that. That's a perfect Lisa one. But I go back to it after that. That was a good joke. But who you got?
I don't know. I originally said Bloodline to you because I think that the bigger, like, again, if they're saying that The Rock is supposed to cut a promo or do a vignette or be on the Titantron after this match, then it would make sense for Jacob to pin somebody. But then part of me is like, do the faces need to win to set up the baddies wanting war games? I can talk my way either way, but I told to you.
I feel like I want the faces wanting war games.
I know, and that's what I'm like.
Because it's you can't escape me. But then again, these guys are supposed to be the Savages, so probably that would make more sense. So I tend to agree with you, and this is where Nikki and I do agree. We both have the bloodline going over, with probably Jacob Fatu being the one to get the pinfall. So, Nikki, we move along. I just kind of jumbled some of these together. So we move into the next two are going to be the women's
It's our
matches.
workflow, not theirs.
Exactly. So we take into the women's SmackDown women's title match where Nia Jax defends against Bayley. My question is, I guess, well, first off, Nikki, your predictions and thoughts on this match.
I think we've gone on a journey together in this podcast, and I'm going to go Nia. I think Nia wins. Nia retains. Okay,
so you got Nia, which I do agree with you, but there's a couple of elements in this match that I'm not sure of what storytelling what's going to happen.
You asked me who wins.
Yeah.
You didn't ask me who walked out as champ.
Okay, so then that's the question. Does Tiffany Stratton cash in Money in the Bank?
I think so. I'm listening to all my dirt sheets. I think you get a double turn here. I think Naomi's going to come out and cost Bayley and get Tiffany to come in to cash on Nia. I think there's going to be some convoluted, dusty finish wonkiness. And I think Nia will win. I think Tiffany will walk out.
And that, again, I guess you kind of answered my other question, is does Naomi turn on Bayley now? Is this the moment that we see?
A little something on SmackDown last week because they had the match. Obviously, Bayley won. And it's like, how long you pretend you're, I'm so excited for your opportunities. But you're not getting any yourself. Like, turn heel, join your husband, join the bloodline. Get out of here.
So Javier's got an interesting theory. He says, I think Naomi turns on Bayley and they stay friends. It's an interesting dynamic. I don't know if it's been booked like that before, but it'd be an interesting take on it. I guess, yeah, like, hey, like you turn on me. I don't know how that works. Might need to explain that one out more, unless I read it wrong. But yeah, I think ultimately we tend to agree. I have Nia in this as well. I just feel like everything going on, she has to retain. There might be a catch. Also, I talked about this last week on the show. Survivor Series, the theme of the show is survive, right? So you have war games. Maybe it's a fatal four-way for the women's title, and this is how you do it. And I could see that being an angle, and maybe potentially this would be great to me and make me look like Nik-Toberfest, but a triple threat with Cody somehow defending at Survivor Series against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. That's all survival elements. I can't say that. It's a tough word to say. So I think it'd be an interesting take on it.
I think I predicted Bayley winning the Royal Rumble. We predicted Bayley winning Mania. But her reign after that wasn't that exciting. Wasn't something... I feel like everything that was going on SmackDown, she was overshadowed a lot, and I don't think I'm ready, or maybe the company's ready, to put the belt on back on Bayley. I just don't see it.
Yeah. So this is one of the few matches and few times that Nikki and I do agree.
Again, and look who we're... Steven! How much have we grown that we are agreeing on this right now?
I know.
It's my new best friend.
She loves her.
Yes, queen.
Loves the queen. My queen loves the queen. Love it. Love it. So, we move along. Let's see. I don't know if it might get Steven going. He said business is business.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Steven, I wasn't drinking then. But that would have been less close.
Obviously, he'll pick Bayley to win and then lose. So he's got Bayley.
And I think it's more impactful for Tiffy to cash in on Nia. Like, Tiffy cashing in on Bayley means nothing. Like, I feel like your cash-ins need to be more impactful. Like, Carmella going over Charlotte. You never think that Carmella would go over Charlotte.
Yeah.
You know, Seth Rollins cashing in on Brock Lesnar. Like, that's the bigger, like, needs to be bigger.
Yeah, that's fair.
Priest Drew. I can keep going. I digress.
Well, we're going to keep going. So we're moving into another women's match. Our favorite, our Jersey girl, Liv Morgan.
Oh, I wrote down her thing today.
Defending against Rhea Ripley with Dom Mysterio in a shark cage. And in case you missed it, this feud's been building for months, right? Probably since right after WrestleMania or even before it. Actually, I think it was before it. But point is, these two have been at each other's throats. We've been waiting to see it since SummerSlam, since Rhea got screwed by Dom. All we've seen is Liv and Dom running away. She's a little runaway. And we're back for arguably the biggest, second biggest, or biggest match of the night. Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Dom Mysterio in a shark cage. We've got a lot to get through. So much to touch upon. So I'm going to hit you with the hard-hitting questions earlier and stuff. First off, we know you never stay in it, and he's claustrophobic. How does Dom escape the shark cage? He's not going to stay in it forever.
Is it one of those things? It's maybe a tale of two matches. Are you going to throw something up for Dom to get out, or is he going to throw something down to Liv? Like, is Judgment Day going to throw keys up to get him out, or is he going to like toss some like brass knucks or something to Liv?
Yeah, like an item that he had brought with him.
Yeah, because it's like, no, are they frisking him before he gets in this cell?
Yeah, not likely, right? Well, he's a criminal. He should.
So it's like, is something going up or something going down?
He knows how to smuggle things in the old prison wallet. Deadpool reference. There we go.
But like, I really want to see where the cage's position. So we talked about that last week. Again, with the Hell in a Cell, I think it's weird. Like, is it going to be over the ring, or we've had cages that they're over like more where the ring steps are, like rampy area?
Oh no, I think he's over the ring. You got to be over the ring.
Just a question.
But then again, you do have the cell. That's the only thing that's kind of.
But then again, if unfortunately the rumor is, and I think it's confirmed, the cell is going on first. Do you do a long commercial and break down the cell so you just have?
I don't think you could break it down that quickly. Could you? No, because I think it's one full structure. I don't think the cell is actually
would there be a hole in the cage so you can dangle the cage down?
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Because
Look at you in architecture.
Because I've watched a lot of Hell in a Cells. Like, is this like a trap door that like Mick Foley's gonna fall through, but it's really just to get Tom's cage through?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about like the design of the cell has to equate for the fact could equate for the fact that they have the other match with the shark at the shark cage. So yeah, that's interesting because that's a very little tinfoil hat.
She did say dangling over the ring, but like I don't like logistically. And then also like kind of backtracking, there was no reason for them to build the whole cage, the whole cell, for them to cut a promo in. But
they just transported it. There's some warehouse that has all this stuff, and I would just love to just like ride around in it for hours or like a day.
But regardless of who's up, who's down, who's coming in, coming out, I think Liv is retaining. And I loved her little nod to Ric Flair kind of promo on Monday when she said, home-wrecking, man-stealing, heartbreaking, title-taking greatest women's champion of all time.
She's great at cutting promos. She's come leaps and bounds.
Oh, 100%. Like, I love her to death. I don't... As much as this is my WrestleMania, it's my birthday extravagance, I don't see them putting the belt on Rhea at this pay-per-view. I think they're still going to stretch some more out of this feud, and that'll lead to an Atlanta production.
So that actually answers the question I was going to ask. Is this the end of the Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley feud?
I think Rhea's going to get the title back, but it's going to be at Mania.
You think it's going all the way to WrestleMania?
I do want tinfoil hats, kids. So rumor and innuendo is apparently people are speculating that Raquel Rodriguez is coming back. Because if you listen to the promo on Raw, Finn and Dom they're on the phone together, and Finn said, "Tell Liv I got it, don't worry," or something along those lines. So is someone, like, maybe Dom is just up there and someone else comes to save her? Does someone else come?
I mean, there's the whole Judgment Day. So, like, does the Judgment Day get involved? Would this be a great way of, if she's healthy, and I would love to be healthy because I like her a lot, could Raquel come back? Again, they were tag team champions. Is it another female presence in a big faction, I think? Well, you know what would be neat about this whole dynamic, so neat, is that if Raquel does come back, to your theory, to your tinfoil hat theory, okay, so let's say this happens, then you have two women, potentially if she joins the Judgment Day, I'm assuming, as the heavy to live, or, then you have two women in the Judgment Day, right? Mm-hmm. Who's presumably coming back to the Wyatts in the next month? We've heard about Alexa Bliss, so that could set up that what we've heard rumored Judgment Day Wyatt 6 feud, and now you have two women in there, and now the numbers seem to equal out. That would be a nice dynamic to this whole feud, a nice wrinkle, I should say.
What else would Dom for Balor? Because again, I think Balor and Livy got something on the side. For Balor to be like, "Tell Liv I got it covered. Don't worry," like.
Yeah.
Is someone else coming?
Also, I think you sold me on that Finn and Liv are getting together.
Oh, I think.
But what's Dom doing? Just rubbing her feet along the way?
I mean,
we were up all night rubbing feet. So Steven's got a comment. He says Liv wins here because the card is sponsored by Wendy's and Dom needs more shitty chicken wings.
Nuggets for everybody.
Yeah, and again, obviously, yeah. What if I think Raquel joins Judgment Day? It would be an interesting.
Why not something? I love a good female heavy. I don't know, just because growing up,
it would be a new dynamic in the factions too. We rarely see two females in a faction. Yeah. Like I remember like DX with Tori and Stephanie for that short period of time, but like you never really. I'm trying to think of like two females in a group.
Well, it should have been Chyna and Stephanie. I don't know. I think it's something different. Again, just throwing it out there. I think they need to do, because I don't think this is the end. I think Liv's retaining. What can they do to have something different? Have someone else interfere on behalf of Liv. And I think it'd be something great for Raquel, because I think she's great in the ring. I really loved NXT Raquel. Don't come out and show me how great your back is. Do something. No. And this could be the catalyst for something.
I hate everyone with a back. Even, what's his name? Oh my God, Austin Theory's got a back entrance. Dummy. I don't care about your back.
But didn't also
as long as you're walking out of the arena.
Didn't I forget his name, move on. He just went to AEW. We just talked to him for 20 minutes. Didn't Lashley have a back?
Yeah, and it was terrible. It was terrible for him, and it almost killed his career. So, no back entrances. But that being said, I do agree with you. I think Liv is going over.
Yeah.
And the storyline is continuing further, at least till probably Survivor Series. So we move along to the same overall theme match, right? Damian Priest against Finn Balor. True grudge match of this feud. Of this, well, not the true, but like one of the two big grudge matches of this PLE. See, I'm saying PLE a lot lately. I've been doing a great job of doing that. So, Nikki, we
girl
bleed this into the other Judgment Day.
When I texted you my picks, you said we're going to have some words.
So, okay. So I'm going to start it with this.
So you start off.
Who needs this win more? Any speechless over there?
No, I don't think that's about who needs it. I think who's going to get it. Personally, I went with Damian Priest. I think you're not going to have both Terra twins lose. And I think Rhea has to lose, unfortunately, as much as I love her. I don't think you're going to have another pay-per-view of them both losing. And he's been on this babyface run that's been great. And I think him losing the belt and being on this babyface run is going to make us appreciate his actual title run more in hindsight. And then again, if you believe in the thing, if you get over on the go-home show, then you're not going to win on the pay-per-view. There's that. I think it's the same thing with, you can't have both Terra twins losing. Is this more of a fracture, maybe, of Finn being this de facto leader of the Judgment Day and he lost? Does that cause something over here? Because I think Liv is going to grow into, I'm the leader of this group.
Oh, I think, yeah, that'd be great if she is. I would love it, but I don't see that. This is where I disagree with you. This is where I said we were going to have words. We're going to have words. So I think you just saw Liv and Dom lose the Terra Twins, right? The last PLA. So now it's in theory, even though it was one match, a clean sweep. I think it will be a clean sweep again. I think somehow Liv retains the title, like we said, and I think Finn needs this win. So I guess my question is, and this is why I went with this, how do you gain momentum with the storyline? And the way, in my opinion, you do it is you give them the clean win after the PLE before they just got dominated by the group.
I think they're both supposed to be on the trajectory. I think he's on this babyface rise and Finn's on this heel rise. And maybe neither of them should lose. So do you do a just shitty, dusty finish? And then you gotta think I subscribe to the feeling, but what's your heel versus face? Who's winning these matches? Do you need the babyface win? Do you need the heel win?
I think you need the heel win. I think you need both heel wins.
Does Liv feel that void? If Liv does this whole big thing over Rhea Ripley, and I'm sorry, Liv beating Rhea Ripley is bigger than Finn beating Priest.
She already beat Rhea at SummerSlam. It's a bigger win. It's already a bigger win at SummerSlam. So this is just continuing the momentum. If you want to give her the momentum, and that's what I'm saying. You're going to give her the momentum, and that's why I think Survivor Series is probably where this blows up. I don't think this gets to WrestleMania, other than if you push it along to a theory where you're going to have that crossover match with Dom and Rhea.
Yeah, but if you have Rhea losing, this is going to go on for another few months.
But that's what I said. I don't think I think it's going to be a double down. Hey, similar to Punk, like, oh, I got the win. No, you're not done with us yet. We beat you a month and a half ago just because you got over on us in this sneaky.
That's why I think it splits.
I don't think it splits, and that's where Nikki and I disagree. I have Finn Balor going over. She has Damian Priest winning. Who do you all have? Let us know in the comments below. See, Javier agrees with me. He said they both lose. Both Terror Twins lose.
I don't think I'd be mad at either outcome as long as it's good.
And he thinks Finn's winning clean, which is interesting.
Girl.
His thoughts are
the Judgment Day ever went clean.
We can see Finn clean and have Finn versus Grizzly. I don't think that's happening.
Not if CM Punk has anything to do about it. Rumor is CM Punk Gunter Survivor Series. I don't think they're gonna do Gunter. No, because Gunter, is that a Raw match or is that a Saudi match? Gunter.
It's probably Saudi.
Sammy.
No, it's Raw. It's Monday. It's Monday. That's Monday night. Monday night's main event.
I don't see them doing Gunter Finn at Saudi. It's too much of a turnaround because Saudi's is the first week in November.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't see Sammy winning for sure, but
I think that's why they're doing it on Raw because I don't think you can have Sammy lose at Saudi.
Well, I mean, we both agree he's not winning, so that's for sure.
So this is I feel like this one and then the next one is truly the two we actually disagree on, like wholeheartedly.
So let's get into it. What is going to actually open the show, but we think should close the show. Let's be honest. This is the biggest feud of the whole PLE, right? Punk McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. This has been brewing since probably even before WrestleMania, since Punk debuted. But
yeah. It's been a year.
Yeah. A year build up for this match. So let's try and condense it down to 1 minute and 21 seconds of what they've done. All right. There's a bug in my face. But first, before we get into our predictions, because this is a unique instance, we don't see Hell in a Cell often. So, Nikki, I'm going to ask you, before we get started, what was your favorite?
Oh, well, you should go first because you took mine.
I took yours?
Yes, because I said I would do these two. Which one do you want? And you were like, I'll do the first.
Right.
And I was like, well, this is the anniversary of my birthday and the Bad Blood, blah, blah, blah. 27 years, but please go on, Kane. That's gotta be Kane.
My favorite Hell in a Cell match. We love Shawn Michaels here. The original HBK Undertaker. Way back, 99. Where Shawn was just getting his ass kicked the whole match. And you get a couple moments like he's hanging off the top of the cell, falls onto the announce table. A lot of great spots. Like this was leading up to the WrestleMania, like Heart Foundation. This is all Attitude Era, like going towards the peak Attitude Era, and he's just it's I think right after that whole he was the referee deal, which ironically CM Punk made homage to on NXT earlier this week. So it was, where he accidentally hits Undertaker with a steel chair and has to count 3 for Bret Hart. That whole feud, the Hart Foundation DX storyline, he's the European champion during all this. You just know he's about to get his ass whipped, and he does the whole match. Basically, he has a couple of moments where he is his offense in, and ultimately it leads towards the debut. It's gotta be Kane!
It's gotta be Kane!
Of Kane, Isaac Yankem, Glenn Jacobs, and one of the highly anticipated debuts of any wrestler or character coming in.
At that time, yeah.
Exactly. And eventually leads with Shawn winning the match thanks to a tombstone, and leads us towards WrestleMania, which had Undertaker Kane for the first time, HBK, Bret Hart, just a phenomenal. This is, for me, like you were talking about, like how you got back into wrestling earlier. This was like one of the moments that I remember. I remember getting the VHS, which Uncle Howdy knows a lot about, and making sure that, I'm going to catch up on all the stuff I missed leading up to the Attitude Era. And this was one of the first things I vividly remember. And this was a phenomenal way to just Attitude Era, just changing the culture of wrestling. So, this is by far my favorite Hell in a Cell match. For sure. Nikki, what are yours?
So if you're a regular, I am very much whatever Nick asks me a question, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is what I have to steadfast for. Like I said, who would you draft to your company? I immediately said Roddy Strong. I love Roddy Strong. Is he my champion? I don't know, but I love him. So my first because I had my two reactions, and obviously the first one, my anniversary of my birthday. Anniversary of birthday sounds weird. But I remember watching that at my mom's house with my dad, watching that. So he wanted to talk about it. So what I also going to talk about, end of an era match, Triple H Taker at Mania with HBK Shawn Michaels as your special guest referee. I know before you start yelling at me in the comments, but please do. I know this is not the best. I know this is a long one for no reason, but I think the story, nostalgia, Shawn Michaels being Shawn Michaels, I think this is up there. I listened to a thing that said it's just two dads throwing patio furniture at each other because the chair shots, so many chair shots. So stop with the chair shots. But there's a lot of them. But this was like going into this Mania, like Taker was 19-0, and he would be 20-0. And this is when he took off his hood and he had his cute little like mohawk like coming out. And like, but it's like the story and the three, because he had the two Manias with Michaels, and then he had this is the second Mania with Triple H. So it kind of felt like a final episode, like a culmination of like, we're gonna end seeing this shit. And then it's just like there's again with all the chair shots, and like Shawn Michaels keeps going in everyone's face, like, do you want me to answer? Do you want me to stop? And like, of course, Undertaker's like panting, like, don't stop. And then Triple H grabs the sledgehammer, and was like, if you don't stop this, I will. And then Taker's like, don't stop this. Then at the one point, like, Taker gets Shawn into the Hell's Gates, and then Shawn gets pissed off, So he hits the super kick, and the super kick goes into the pedigree, and we all kind of was like, oh,
a lot of false finishes.
The streak is done. And then he kicks out, and everyone goes bananas, and Sean has this crazy, like, back swim into the corner of, like, putting his hands over his head. And this is when, you know, Taker comes back with all the chair shots and grabs the sledgehammer, hits Triple H with the sledgehammer, does the pedigree. Sean does the reluctant 1, 2, 3, and then he holds up his hand, but they go hug and hold each other, and then Sean and Taker take up Triple H to the ramp. They have this iconic shot with, like, the pyro going off in the background of them just kind of, like, holding each other. That was supposed to be the end of an era, which we know wasn't the end of an era because they all came back and it was all super gross. But just, like, the storylines of how, and just, like, 3 guys that have done all the matches together.
End of an era. End of an era.
That was how I sounded. Just like that's. I don't know if you have that shot, but it's just like the most iconic thing for this fucking match. You just have.
Nope.
Good lord.
No,
okay. Well.
I only go by what I can find quickly. That's decent.
You just okay. Moving on, kids. Your predictions, babe.
No.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Gosh. All right, let's get to it. Because I didn't get enough pictures. I get yelled at if I don't have enough.
We already did that.
Oh, whoops. Wrong one.
We're going the wrong way.
We're going backwards.
Oh, God.
We're going back in time. Let me find it. All right. It's this one. There we go. So, my questions for this match are pretty simple, I guess. First off, because this they've had the strap, they've had Punk being hospitalized, all this other extreme stuff. Do we see a crazy bump on the top or off the top of the cell?
I don't think they're going off, but there's potential to be on, but I don't know if I necessarily want to see that.
I could see McIntyre taking a crazy bump on this.
No.
I see it happening.
Again, I don't want to. No. I think I do.
Like a Shawn Michaels-esque. Like, you're not on the top.
Then you're mid-cage. You said
yes. All right. Maybe.
He was just like a doo-doo down just enough to
off the top. So he'd be hanging by the top.
No,
and then
going. Sean did either. It was just enough to crash through the Spanish announce table not to get injured. He wasn't like miles and miles.
No, he wasn't Mick Foley height for sure.
Yeah, like we're not doing Mick again.
No. So I guess then my question is, how do you think this match finishes?
Well, I feel like you're doing these questions weird because you didn't ask me what I picked.
No, I'm going to ask your pick because that's your finish, right? But all right. Let me skip that one. I'll save that for the end. But the other question is, like, you've had this whole feud has been around the bracelet, right? We said this last month. Now this could be potentially the culmination of this feud. Do we finally see AJ Lee get involved?
No.
Absolutely not. You don't.
I love.
What about Larry?
No.
Larry's gonna bite Drew McIntyre's leg.
Little gremlin
with his weird teeth.
Live with that gremlin alone. No, I feel like the interviews with AJ, she's like, yeah, this is like a whole big thing. She's like, I don't know what's going on. It's like, you talk about work. I'm like, I don't know what you do for a living. Like, I don't pay attention. Like, he was saying with me, you're like, I don't know what my forms do. Well, it's like, I love you and I'm glad you're doing your thing, but like, don't involve me. I feel like her energy right now. And if anything, then you're just, I don't necessarily want to see her in main. You want to see her in NXT and fuck up Roxy and Jade or Roxy, because I don't like either one of them. But I don't think you need, I just want them to be in a cell and do a thing. I don't necessarily want book dusty finishes for every other match but this one.
Well, it might be, but I guess so. You want how this match? You want this? How do you want this match to end?
I want 1, 2, 3 Claymore I think Drew needs to win this feud. He's carried this feud for 10 months on his flipping back. With Punk being out, all his crazy Twitter game, all his craziness. Like, you can plug and play Punk into anything. You can make Punk and Cody fight on Monday Night Raw and no one will bat a flipping eye. Because he's CM Punk. I think Drew has lost, like, he was I remember being that 2020 Royal Rumble when we told everyone we got engaged. We were so excited for Drew that he won in front of nobody, and then nobody afterwards. Like, Punk, you can do whatever with. I think Drew, again, what you said for Priest, Balor, who needs this more? Who wants this more? I think Drew needs this more.
So, the question is, who wins? So, I think Nikki's kind of tipped her hand.
I didn't. Javier, we're not kicking dogs. Get out of here.
Yeah, I was going to play it, but yeah.
Sorry.
So, Nikki, your pick?
I'm going to Drew. I guess it's like he needs it more, should have it more. Again, a loss, CM Punk is like the same we kind of said with Seth. Like a loss is not going to ruin Punk. He can still have his Survivor Series match with Gunther if that's the where they're going. But
I tend to disagree. I think Punk's winning because I think he's going towards Gunther, and you need a face. And you know how I feel about faces and heels. You need a face to challenge heel Gunther. But Javier does agree with you that Drew wins.
But that's also a thing that I heard. Does Punk win? And he cuts the promo that he cut when he beat MJF in the dog collar match. And he's like, I became a monster to beat the monsters. And then does he become a monster to beat Gunther? I don't necessarily, unless he has that belt going into Mania and drops it to Seth or Drew, like, I don't know.
I don't know. It'd be interesting. Let us know in the chat, like, who you got in this match. Do you have Drew? Do you have Punk? It seems to be a very polarizing.
Usually we agree so much on these, so this is like.
I know it's been a very different. That's why I like these 5-match PLEs, because generally speaking, we're not going to agree on all 5. So
yeah, it'll be a tiebreaker.
But let us know. That being said, we are 27 minutes out of SmackDown. So let's open up the phone lines. I know you've all been waiting patiently. Some of you have been waiting for a while. We appreciate you for hanging with us. Chime into the show. We want to hear what you're drinking, what you're thinking about WWE Bad Blood, a.k.a. Nik-Toberfest. We're opening up the phone lines. Call in if you want to know. The call-in link is below. It's in the description of the video. You just click that little link. It takes you to the streamer link. You type in your little name, whatever you want to be called. Some people like to change their name every time on the show.
Steven!
But feel free. We want to hear from all of you live and in person. If you want to type in your comments, you can do that too. But feel free to open up your camera, open up the microphone, and really speak your mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, the phone lines are now open. All right. Phone lines are open, and you got to bring the energy when we open the phone lines. Hold on, let's see. We got comments. Let's get their comments. Hey, Asim, welcome in. Phone lines are open. Asim, if you want to chime in, let us know what you're drinking, what you're thinking about WWE Bad Blood. Let us know. If you want to click in, again, feel free to call in below in the description. The link is right there. Chime in. It's a streamer link. If you want to open up your camera, you can. If you don't want to, it's fine. But with that being said, we're going to open. I think we should open with a regular.
Yes!
on your birthday? Someone who's here all the time.
My favorite.
Ladies and gentlemen, say his name. He appears.
Stan!
I'm a scat man. I'm a scat
Steve, welcome in. What are you drinking? What are you thinking, birthday pie?
Hello there. I'm sorry. I would have had something more prepared, but I hadn't heard it was your birthday until just now. Did you tell people?
Yeah. See that?
Wait, Steve, I don't know if we should just do it because you prompted it and might as well do it.
Oh no.
Do what?
Only the best for the best, right?
No.
Yes, queen.
Only the best for the best.
Jesus Christ.
That's very nice. When I see you tomorrow, Nicole, I have to show you. You look in that picture. You look almost exactly like my cousin Samantha. I have to show you the resemblance.
Have you ever seen Samantha and Nicole in the same room at the same time?
No, but I'm pretty sure there's nothing weird going on there.
They're the same person.
So
I feel like I don't know.
Why are you making it so weird?
We're doing tinfoil hat conspiracies, so I figured it'd be fun. Same person.
God, what are you drinking? What are you thinking, babe? God.
Yeah, it feels like just the other day we were finishing up Nik-Toberfest.
Yes. Well, yeah. I was like, and then Nik-Toberfest is coming right around the corner. Nik-Toberfest.
Yes, Thanksgiving. Nick's-giving.
Yeah,
We
Nik-Toberfest.
can probably give away those Danhausen socks we have.
I think I get the feeling that they're gonna get given away during the Saint Nick Spectacular, Christmas Spectacular.
God.
Oh yeah, Saint Nick. Ha. Oh dear.
Unbelievable,
Yeah.
Steve. You gotta get with the themes, the Nik-Toberfest theme here.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of ways you could market this. Really.
I only know one way.
Hmm.
It is this way. Hold on, there we go.
No, get that down.
Look at that. Look at that. So happy. Anyway.
So you only have the one picture?
We're not.
She only lets me use one. She's only signed off
So
on the
full of
rights
shit.
to use one photo.
So full of shit.
Oh, okay. It's a copyright issue, like when Facebook mutes my videos.
100%. 100% copyrighted. We couldn't contractually come to an
But
agreement.
he can have all these songs on YouTube, but he only has one picture of my face, and we've been together how long now?
Hey. We've only taken so many. All the photos are on your phone.
Yeah, he gets the Temu Taylor Swift that he doesn't have to pay for.
I was thinking
So
reverse.
with Taylor Swift?
Uh,
Steven Wrestling, Bay. Let's steer this
What's
shit
up,
back.
Steve?
wrestling. Okay. So there's a Bad Blood / please don't ruin my birthday card tomorrow. Let's see. I don't know if I agree that the Bloodline is going to win, but I mean, I suppose for their trouble, you kind of have to give them a win somewhere, right?
Yeah, you would think, right?
Yeah.
Eventually they have to do something.
Or they're just these badass jobbers to the stars.
I mean, that's also an option.
Yeah.
If they win, how do you get to War Games?
Yeah, there has to be a path started probably here to get to Bloodline Civil War at War Games, which I hope that's the direction that they take, which they certainly have enough time to get there. Survivor Series is the very end of September, November.
Yes.
Right. So they have almost 2 full months, because I don't think there are any PLEs for the main roster in between those, right?
There's the Saudi show.
The Crown
Jewel.
Oh, yeah. Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel. That agreement's been going on forever, the Saudi agreement.
No, right.
It got extended because they lost some time during COVID.
Understood. That sounds like that's what happened to Ray Phoenix. They extended due to lost time.
I know.
Basically.
My first Nikki news aged like milk, because immediately it was like, that's wrong.
Yeah. And the other match, I know I gave a gag answer before, but I really do think Liv is going to go over in her match with Rhea, because I think they're going to start branching off to try to have a match between Rhea and Dom.
Yeah, it is. I think a lot of people want to see it. It's just so tricky on like how to book it.
I know Dom did the interview that him and Rhea want to do it, but he doesn't think WWE will book it. But is that like a shitty thing you do in Saudi Arabia?
I don't think they would do an intergender match in Saudi Arabia. Well, wait, have they already? No, I don't think so.
No, yeah, I can't see that. I think that the political ramifications of that probably.
Yeah. Plus, Rhea doesn't really need the belt. She's super over without it. So, maybe just branch Liv off into some other direction. If they're going to do a Judgment Day versus Wyatt 6 storyline, then she has Nikki right there.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I also thought like bringing back Raquel Rodriguez is like, all right, well then Rhea can do this for a little bit, then Liv can do something else, and then you can bring it back around, but maybe some space in between.
Right. Well, I mean, I hope Raquel's in good health. I know she's been battling something or other. I don't remember what, not an injury, some sort of condition. So, I mean, let's hope she's in good shape.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. Now it's time to shit on Tony.
I know.
This is like your. I feel like I need to add a new drop for you, just like your weekly. Like,
do
I hate
you
Tony.
shit on Tony more than Ed shits on Darby?
No. I mean, you had to make an opening video for Ed about his hatred for Darby. So,
You can whip something up real quick for next week. Don't tempt him.
It's debatable.
Did we lose Steven?
Oh, whoops. Sorry. Sorry, Steve.
There's the pie.
God, don't leave me like that.
Sorry about that.
No, contrary to popular belief, I don't hate Tony. I just think he does a really terrible job with AEW. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice gentleman, and he does a good job with. He does well with the other jobs that he has with the Jaguars, despite that they haven't won a game yet, or just.
Are they still winless? They really are.
Huh?
The Jaguars are winless.
They're the only winless team right now, 0-4.
That's crazy. Shows that money can't buy anything. I mean, listen, like Steve Cohen learned that with the Mets last year in baseball. Like, hey, I'm gonna spend $500 million and whatever. And we're still gonna lose.
Look, and all he needed to do was get Grimace in there.
Seriously.
But what's your thoughts on Tony?
I think Tony's happy because he got. He obviously didn't get as much as he wanted. I mean, there was talk that he was trying to get $1 billion deal. I'm like, absolutely no chance you're getting $1 billion deal. And he didn't get that, but he did effectively get AEW a raise and probably more years than deserved, considering the trajectory they're on now.
Yeah.
And I would not have given. I mean. Maybe I would have given them a little more money. I mean, their payroll is, I think, if I heard it correctly, it's about 60% of what Max is giving them.
Mm.
It's like they have $100 million payroll. And I think that's just for in-ring talent. I mean, because their roster is so bloody large. Maybe it's a little bit beyond that. I totally would have given them maybe 2 years at best, and they have to meet certain benchmarks to try to improve things. Not necessarily make the product better, but you got to get those numbers up, and you got to get that revenue going. Because otherwise, the way it stands right now, it seems like it would be justification to Tony that, there's nothing wrong with what he's doing and he doesn't need to change anything. And in the meantime, that audience is getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually it's about making money.
No, I'm just like, then don't keep Phoenix for another year just to be shitty. Then let him go get that money back.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of organizations do that, but that always comes off as spiteful, especially when they made their intentions known where they were going.
But then why are you going to pay someone to sit on their fucking couch? Free up the money for something else.
Yeah.
Like, does he really think Rey Fenix is that valuable that it's going to do all this for WWE that you'd rather have him sit on this couch when you can free up all that money to do something else?
It's just spite. I mean, like I've said before, Tony would rather pay it. The money isn't to pay people to wrestle for AEW; it's to pay people not to wrestle for the store across the street.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well put.
Ask Miro. Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure. So, Steve, last shot before we let you go.
I got to tell you, I found an extra benefit for this podcast is while you guys are on, I could raid the waiver wire. So.
Unbelievable. On that note, unbelievable. This guy's talking fantasy football on a pro wrestling show that doesn't even have Tony Richardson as a special guest.
Rocco, I sent you a trade request a couple of days ago. Check your messages.
Unbelievable. This guy thinks it. That being said, Steven, you, sir, with these comments, these fantasy football comments are cut off. We only want to talk about fantasy wrestling here. Steven is cut off.
Yeah.
We cut him off from this. Unbelievable. He's been drinking too much already. He's talking about football. It's on Sundays.
Oh, scandal. But
we still have pay-per-views to get through. Mm-hmm. Well, Nikki, we have others on the line, and the lines are open. So feel free to call in below, talk wrestling with us. You want to wish Nikki a happy birthday? You do that too. You want to talk about Smackdown, the PLE, Bad Blood? Come on in. The link is in the description below. So we're going to bring him in. He's been commenting all day. I'm pretty sure I'm doing this right. So let's bring him in. Javier, welcome to the show. What are you drinking? What are you thinking, Javier? Can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, how are you?
Welcome.
Pretty good. So, I'm drinking some Pelican whiskey with some Pepsi.
Oh,
interesting.
Love it. I do love some whiskey and Pepsi.
That's
my go-to.
You should.
Time.
Whiskey was my wedding jam. Jack Daniels, right? Jack Daniels. Like Jack Daniels and Jack and Coke at weddings was my jam for the longest time.
So I got my tinfoil hat on.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Now I'm remembering because you always have your theories. Now
I got my theory. This is the newest theory, right here. So you're talking about war games, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing that would interest me is if The Rock showed up at Bad Blood and cost them the match.
Cost the Bloodline or Roman?
Cost Roman and Cody.
Okay, and I could totally see that. Like to me, if the theory, like we were talking about this earlier, like if the theory is that like Solo's kind of a figurehead, I can't say figurehead who's just acting boss while Rock's away, which makes a lot of sense because I think like months ago we were talking like right after WrestleMania. I was like, it's like the same situation. Like I could totally see situation. Like I could totally see we got feedback. But I could totally see that situation. Yeah, I gotta cut him off. So, Javier, what do you think about that? Yeah, what do you think about that?
I didn't hear what you said. You had me muted.
Oh, I had you muted. Yeah, I'm getting some feedback on our end. A little bit of some echoes. Oh, I'm gonna pull you out and play back in. Yeah, we're getting some echoes on our end there. You might need to. I don't know if I'm on speaker or whatnot.
Like if you have two tabs open, like
calling
in
the second tab
on YouTube, you're gonna have to mute the YouTube.
Great point. I need to like do like a not how to, but kind of how to. Let's see if this works this time. Oh, no. Yeah, if it's on YouTube, you gotta mute it on the YouTube. Or we'll just. She's pulling away because she has a bathroom break.
I'm running to the bathroom break.
as we're going through. It's her birthday. She's allowed. Let's see if we fix these issues yet. Hold on. So let's give us 30 seconds to get some technical issues. But while you're doing that, again, we were talking about the bloodline. How can Roman and Cody coexist? Let's give you a little bit 50-second refresher on what happened and how they met up to coexist.
He wear no shoe shine, he got toe jam football, he got monkey finger, he shoot Coca-Cola, he say, I know you, you know me. One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Come together right now over me.
Again, how can these two coexist? I'm doing the solo show for at least the next 30 seconds until Nicole washes her hands from the bathroom. This is what happens when you do a happy hour and you're drinking for 2 straight hours without a bathroom break. Certain things have to happen. Even during Nik-Toberfest, the greatest party ever constructed. Welcome to Nik-Toberfest. And there is no subject of honor, but she's getting back. She's coming here. She's hustling. And
I'm not in. I was like, am I?
All right. Well, no, you're not on camera,
I'm not
so
on
you're just
camera.
doing that all for nothing.
I was doing this like you're just like come up
Nope.
from the elevator sort of thing. No, thanks.
I as a gentleman on your birthday, I didn't give you any booze, so
No.
no bathroom break booze. So, regardless.
Oh, I thought you said like booze as like giving me alcohol.
No,
Like
not
boo.
booze with the Z, like the booze.
Oh,
like
I
you
only
don't want.
like with them in seats.
But that being said, let's try this again. All right, second shot or third shot. I don't even know. But Javier, welcome back. Oh, we got the
Made it back.
You need to meet
So
somebody.
how do I sound now? Do I sound still as sexy as I was before?
A little bit. We're hearing some feedback on your end. I don't know if you're on. I don't know if you're on YouTube.
Let's see.
No, that just took him off YouTube. Technology is fun. It's like one of these interesting things. The pandemic has changed us all. We learned a lot about IT. Let's try it again. 4 times the charm. Nope.
Sound better or worse?
It sounds good. I just keep hearing myself. In the back.
You have two tabs, like StreamYard, one's mute YouTube.
Yeah, you need to mute YouTube if you have StreamYard and YouTube, whichever tab is open. But what's fun about this is it gives time for others who are chiming into the chat to call in as well, while Javier is fixing his IT issues. IT's always on. The magic of live TV, exactly, Steve. But you can always call in and talk wrestling with us, provided your internet is working correctly. But we are shortly, like 5 minutes out of Smackdown, so we're
get your snackies, take your dog out. I hope he's snoring like ours is.
Here we go. The man with 3 H's. I have one question. Are you ready? And he's got a Triple H. There we go. Just for you, Triple H. Well, the man, 3 H's. If you want to call in, the lines are open for a couple more minutes.
Podcast, and all I did was share you with love.
Seriously.
Triple H was my jamboreens. I had his action figure, and I don't know where it went, and I'm very upset that I don't know where that.
I have a million Triple H action figures.
We have so much of your stuff in our basement, and I wish I kept so much of my stuff. But like, it was like once you kind of hit like middle school, high school, it was like not cool or not okay for a girl to like wrestling, which is stupid. So I wish I had so much wrestling stuff that I wish I kept. And I think maybe that's why I hoard so much stuff now.
Fair enough. Well, I don't think we don't want to cross over into the SmackDown realm, as our friends Tazzy and the party are having their live watch-along live stream. So we will, let's see, catch last. Punk or Drew, who goes over at Bad Blood? We
disagree.
We disagree. I say Punk. She says Drew.
I say Drew.
But you never know. I mean,
Claymore. I think Punk can do whatever the flip he wants. I think Punk doesn't need the momentum to do anything. He's CM Punk. You can plug and play. I think at this point, like Drew kind of needs the win to move on. And he's the one that carried the feud for flipping 10 months. Like, Drew needs the win, but
Punk will get it. But Punk will get it because I predicted Punk to get it. So,
all right. Well, why are you winning the predictions on my birthday?
Because I win the predictions whether they're your birthday or not most of the time. I think that's a fair assessment.
I want to celebrate your birthday, but I want to annihilate you on your birthday.
I want to win. It's all about winning, mostly. But, I mean, it's not all about winning. I mean, like when we do the predictions, they're about winning. Let's be honest. It's about winning. But the show for us is about having fun and having a good time on Friday nights at 6. So we hope you join us next Friday at 6. We actually have a lot to discuss before we get in. We'll be back tomorrow. Oh, I didn't do that right. There we go. We started this last week. We finally got through it. It's a lot to get through, a lot of showers I need to take. But we are going to review part 2, episodes 4 through 6, of Mr. McMahon's Netflix documentary. So that's tomorrow at noon Eastern time, whatever that is for you locally. Feel free to chime in. There's a lot to dive into. A lot of memories that are stirred up, a lot of interesting controversies that came along the way.
My feelings about Bret Hart.
Every feeling for her about Bret Hart. Gee, it might as well have been a Bret Hart documentary, to be honest. I mean, like, it might as well have been.
Tomorrow.
But yes, tomorrow at noon, come discuss this with us. And then, obviously, Sunday, I didn't put this in there, back at 6 Sunday, recapping Bad Blood. The hopefully craziness that is tomorrow's Nik-Toberfest. All right, we're going to give this one last try. One last try before we go, Nikki. Javier, one last time here. Javier. Oh, do we have it? No, we got the same. Unfortunately, we can't get it. Javier, we appreciate you chiming in. We'll have to figure this out for next time. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow at noon we'll have you on, or Sunday for the recap show. On that end, we'll have to figure out the IT technical difficulties that we're having here. But regardless of some slight technical difficulties, we did not have any physical difficulties, and that's good. It's always a good thing. So we'll lead us out. Triple H.
Thought we had a spectacular event tonight. Very excited that so far everybody seems to have come out unscathed. Banged up, bumps and bruises, but nobody seriously injured, which I always hold my breath on these events. You want to see people have the best outing that they can possibly have and make memories, but do it safely. And we were able to do that tonight.
And we're back. So it was a fun, entertaining show, as always. We appreciate you for being with us and joining us as SmackDown starts. We will see you tomorrow. Again, we are back here tomorrow at noon Eastern. Oh, there it is. At noon Eastern to recap the Vince McMahon documentary. So join us tomorrow for that. If that doesn't work for you, if you've got plans, come on Sunday at 6. We're recapping this particular PLE and what went down. So it was a pleasure as always. But until next time, you don't have to go home. But first, happy birthday, my love.
Thank you, baby.
Tomorrow we'll be doing a show on your birthday, even though, but I love you very much. I hope this was a fun experience, a fun little pre-birthday extravaganza. It was the night before Nicole's birthday, and all through the house, Jackson was snoring.
So get the fuck out.
And Bayley was hunting mouses. I had a nice line.
You ruined all my segues.
I had really good lines that were all gone, and
you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Goodbye.